Hi, so today it is a very interesting topic, how to do the right thing or how to be a good human being. So according to Aristotle, the Greek philosopher of 4th century BC, anything is good when it achieves its purpose or its highest goal. So what is the highest goal for human beings? For human beings, the highest goal is achieving happiness. Today if you ask anyone or ask yourself, why do you do a certain thing? So suppose, why do you want a good job? Because you want money. Why do you want money? Because you want the freedom it gives you and its ability to buy anything that you want. Why do you want that? Because you want to be happy, you want to make people around you happy. So basically, whenever you question anything that a human being does, the highest purpose will turn out to be happiness, and happiness is pursued only for the sake of happiness. There is nothing beyond happiness. So according to Aristotle, the highest goal of a human being is Eudaimonia. So he says it's not happiness alone, but it's a combination of happiness and flourishing. So when a human being is happy and is thriving and is achieving his potential, that is when the human being has achieved Eudaimonia, and that is the definition of a good human being or a good person as per Aristotle. So how does one reach this stage of Eudaimonia? Aristotle says that you reach Eudaimonia by doing the right thing in the right amount towards the right people. So how does one do this right thing in the right amount towards the right people? See, basically to take the right action, we have to take the right decision. And how do we take the right decision? We take the right decision by deliberating in our mind, by thinking rationally. Human beings are rational animals, only we have got this ability of rational thinking. So we have, Aristotle says, we got to apply our rational thinking in accordance to some virtues and arrive at the right decision, and so ultimately at the right action to take. So we have to apply our prudence, our wisdom or viveka in the given situation to arrive at the right decision. What are virtues? Virtues are enduring character traits that guide a person's choices and actions. They represent ethical principles that a person follows in life. Some examples of virtues are courage, temperance, generosity, ambitions, patience, truthfulness, good temper, friendliness and modesty. According to Aristotle, we are not born with virtues, but we learn virtues along the way. We observe people as we are growing up and learn from our environment. So it's important that we are surrounded by good people. In our Hindu culture, this is also called as sanskars. We should have good sanskars. Virtues cannot be learned in theory. Virtues grow only with practice. So the more you practice bravery, the more brave you become. Suppose you are rash in your decisions, then you become a rash person. Suppose you are coward, you keep practicing cowardly actions, then you become a coward. Suppose you observe temperance in your dealings and your indulgences, then you become a temperate person. Suppose you practice friendliness, you become a friendly person. You practice patience, you become a patient person. So you cannot learn all these virtues just by reading about them. So, but you have to bring them into practice. The more you practice them, the more you become them. Okay, Aristotle's golden mean. So what Aristotle says is that virtue lies somewhere in between a scale of deficit and excess. So the mean point, somewhere around the mean, is the virtue. For example, courage is a virtue. So if there is less courage, then it is cowardice. It is more courage or foolhardiness, then it is recklessness. Similarly, for the virtue of temperance, it is insensibility on the lower side and gluttony on the higher side. Now temperance is with regard to bodily pleasures and pains. So for example, if we take with eating, so you have to have a balanced view or temperate view towards eating. You have to have some kind of self-control. So you should not eat too much, you should not eat too less. So when you are not interested in eating, you don't appreciate food, you eat too less, then you are insensible. You do not enjoy your food. When you eat too much, it is gluttony. So this is the case with all pleasures. So what he says is we need to have temperance or self-control with respect to pleasures. The next virtue is generosity. So if somebody is less generous, which means he goes towards being stingy, and if you are over generous, then you go towards prodigality. You spend more than you have. Now the next virtue is ambition. So you should have enough of ambition. If you have less of ambition, then you go towards mediocrity. Basically you lack any kind of drive, okay, and you shortchange yourself. And on the other side, if you are over ambitious, you tend to be ruthless. So you become ruthless and you don't care about other people, how your ambition means you can harm other people also to achieve your ambition. Now the next virtue is patience. Patience lies between complacency and impatience. Complacency means you are too, like, you are happy with you just have just too much patience with things as they are. You will not take any action to change anything because you are just very complacent. Impatient means everybody knows what impatience is. Next virtue is truthfulness. So a person who is not truthful, which has less of truthfulness, he is deceitful or he is a liar, which is also bad. Then on the other hand, you could be blunt. I mean, not all truth has to be told bluntly, we all know that. So balanced, you have to always be balanced. So the next virtue is good temper. Basically, when you don't get angry at anything, then it is like, you take any kind of shit from all people, so they say you lack spirit. Or else on the other hand, you are too hot tempered. I mean, at the drop of a hat you just lose your temper. That's also not good. Then the next virtue is friendliness. So when you are too friendly or you are a people pleaser, it's also called obsequiousness. You'll do anything to get friendship from people. So that's not good. The other side is cantankerousness. Cantankerousness is that you are too demanding and you are too complaining and you are too entitled. So that is the other side of friendliness. Then the next virtue is modesty. So when you have less of modesty, you become a shameless person, which is not good. And if you have too much modesty, you are too shy. So you are not having confidence to express yourself or demand things for yourself. So let's understand a little bit more about this golden mean by taking a few examples. Now let's take the example of courage. So an excess of courage is recklessness, where the person is unable to assess the danger that he is facing and he puts himself and others at risk. If you have less courage, then it is cowardice, where you are too frightened to even put your point forward or to confront a challenging situation head on. So you have to have a balanced approach. So suppose you are walking on the road, you see a person being mugged. So now the decision in front of you is whether you should run and help the person and fight against the mugger, or you should call for help. So this decision will totally depend on, like, are you stronger or is the mugger stronger? Do you have any weapon with you? Are you confident that you will be able to physically overpower the mugger or not? So basically the right thing to do depends on the person who is doing it. So always this virtue is with respect to the person who is actually doing it. Now let's take the example of anger. So in some situations you have to be only less angry. You shouldn't, like, lose your temper and be very angry. But if somebody does something serious against you, you have to take up the cudgels and be very angry with them and show them that you are angry. So here again, the virtue of anger, it is not exactly the mean between being very hot tempered and not being very laid back. It is not an exact mean. It depends from situation to situation. So basically, what is the golden mean depends both on the person for whom we are talking about this golden mean, as well as the situation that the person is dealing with. Temperance helps a person to maximize his pleasure as well as while avoiding the consequences of overindulgence. Temperate person knows exactly how much he should indulge. Temperate man is moderately disposed with respect to pleasure and pain, and temperance keeps his desires under control. Okay, let's talk of generosity. So generosity is supposed to be somewhere between stinginess and wastefulness. But again, this generosity, what is the right amount of generosity, will depend how much the person has himself. So he has to look after his needs first and then be generous towards other. So it is not how much you give, but your intention of giving. So the right thing, the balanced approach is first take care of your needs, then be generous. Everything just depends on situations, how much you have, and the person. See, in every situation one has to try to hit the balance of the golden mean, or try to hit the golden mean. So Aristotle has given us 3 rules as to how we can, in any situation, we can hit the golden mean of these virtues. Let's see what these rules are. So rule 1 is keep away from the extreme, which is the worst one. So in case of all virtues, in case of the 2 extremes, the less one and the more one of them is worst. For example, in courage, cowardice is considered to be the worst, because so you go towards the other side. If you go towards rashness, it is considered to be a better error than going towards cowardice. This is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is, everybody is born with a natural tendencies towards certain faults or vices. So we should discover our own vices and we should act in the opposite direction. So suppose a person tends to be angry. So we know that, okay, I know, for example, I used to be kind of hot tempered. I used to get angry very fast. So you have to discover this for yourself. You are angry, then you see to it in situations you control your anger, because you know that you are angry. Suppose a person is lazy, so they know that they have a tendency to be lazy, so they have to on purpose be active, go towards the opposite direction. So this is rule number 2. Rule number 3 is, always see the pleasant things in people and situations. People will always have, you can always, so your perception should be positive thinking. That's what rule number 3 is all about. So in conclusion, according to Aristotle, to achieve eudaimonia, you have to apply rational thinking with the guidance of virtues to take the correct action under any situation. You should have the correct a temperate view towards your pleasures and pains. This is what is recommended. I do hope, see, Aristotle is a very difficult, it is he has written some over 10 plus books on this topic, so it's very difficult to take out the essence of his teachings, but this is what I have done after doing a lot of research. I do hope you like the video. Thanks for your time. Bye.